the world is not very stable, I believe. But I think that I'm not so pessimistic in terms of. I think our biggest problem at the moment is environmental problem.
What do you want to say environmental problem? I don't understand. Drought?
Drought, the consequences of climate change are going to be enormous. So that I think that is our biggest problem, and that's a problem we at the moment it looks like we cannot tackle it. Just like poverty was maybe 10, 20 years ago, we thought like poverty we will never be able to eradicate. But now the world looks a lot better when you look at only at poverty and healthcare. It's really starting to we're starting to get that under control. HIV looked unsolvable 15 years ago, but it looks that we are getting it much more
Yeah,
under control.
right.
The difference between capitalism and communism looked unsolvable and gonna last forever
Right.
30 years ago, but nowadays, I mean, we even forgot about the whole problem.
Right.
So I think the big issues that we had in the past, we are managed to leave quite a few behind.
Right.
So in that respect, I think we have not so many problems at the moment that are unsolvable. But climate change is one that I don't know how we can solve it, because it's something that we need to do together, and we are not prepared
Which area are you want to talking about climate change?
politically.
What do you mean politically?
Politically, how are we going to make sure that we're going to put how can we?
You mean the
So there
American?
are a number of issues, a number of global issues that we don't know how to solve. So we have the problem of climate change. We have the problem of the open financial system that makes it very difficult, for example, to keep leveraging taxes. So we have a tax problem, I think, a global tax problem. So that means that governments cannot leverage taxes, which means that we cannot redistribute income. That is a big problem. So the tax problem, the climate problem, I had another one.
I tell you, because this is a big major issue. It's just only Trump. Only Trump.
Well, but Trump is something that the problem is.
EU people is very favor for climate change.
Yeah.
Only Trump.
Right, but people want to free ride.
China will follow to EU.
But people will become more. You think it's only? I mean,
China will follow EU. China has a lot of problem for the kind of banning coal.
okay. So let's look at, for example, the Netherlands. They always have a very big mouth about climate change, etc. But so like this is a global problem. We need to do something. But at the same time, the Netherlands also a different problem. They are very opportunistic with their tax legislation.
What do you mean tax legislation?
Well, they make it very attractive for multinational companies to open up a business in the Netherlands because they have all kinds of tax exemptions. So they are trying to get money to flow through the Netherlands so they can tax it away from the countries of operation. So basically, we have these mailbox multinationals, which enable companies to for example, extract oil from an African country, and then let all the revenue flow through their Dutch headquarters, and so effectively not having to pay taxes in Africa and just pay taxes in the Netherlands. this is a very opportunistic way where countries have a inclination to facilitate these kinds of tax evasion incentives for multinational companies. So this is, I think this is really a big problem.
It doesn't relate in climate change, right?
No, but I think the big problem is not climate change or tax or other problems. It's more about how can we tackle global problems. How can we make sure that countries like the United States will not be a free rider when it comes to climate change? I don't think, like, the majority of the people in the world are convinced that climate change, that there's enough scientific proof for climate change to be real. I think the reason why they don't believe it, the reason why Trump and a lot of other people who support him do not believe it, is because they don't want to believe it, because they have an economic incentive and political incentive not wanting to believe it. It's not that they don't believe it, but they just don't want to believe it. So how can we solve global problems if there is such a big free rider problem?
Climate change, I have only one interesting point is, how come American industry support Trump?
How come?
Yeah, American industry support Trump.
This is very interesting indeed, because a lot of industries are actually hurt by his import duties and tariffs, etc. All of a sudden, they are confronted with rising costs because they get a lot of their parts from overseas, because the world is actually globalized already, and like car manufacturers and whatever, they get their parts from everywhere. So the car industry is actually hurting by the measures taken by Trump. But I was listening to a podcast the other day, and even though companies are hurting and actually are afraid of running out of business, a lot of people that were interviewed for that program, they still supported the Trump program because they have been hurting, and they feel that Mexicans are engaging in unfair competition in the U.S. So even though it's almost killing their business, for some strange reason, they believe that Trump is doing a patriotic thing, and they say, "Well, okay, but we need to take a stance against the unfair competition."
Only patriotic.
So very strange. Yeah, I was so surprised because I never expected this. So I think one of the big issues is how can we tackle global problems like the current situation when there is so much potentials for the winners to take all and the losers just leaving, being left behind. If we're not going to do anything about this global problem of technological change, then a lot of people will just lose their job and get poorer, while a few only get richer. So how can we tackle that problem? I think that's a big problem. Another global problem is climate change, and there are a number of global problems that I don't see how we can easily solve them.
At that point, it's especially United States. Okay, how come many people support Trump on climate change? This is my concern.
Basically, because actually, but I mean that's what the populism topic was about, because people are pissed off.
Oh, this is still minority in the States.
It's a majority. They all voted for him.
No, in majority, Trump will not win.
You think Trump will not be re-elected?
No, he will be elected anyway.
I'm afraid that he will be re-elected. Yeah,
Do you?
I'm afraid he will be re-elected.
He will be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
re-elected.
Yeah.
So many people support his climate change.
I think actually people do not care so much about climate change. People look at how the economy is doing, and
The economy is going well. Doing
the
well.
economy is going well, and I think that's all that matters.
Yeah. So that's the reason why climate change they do not so much emphasize on
Right.
for their consideration, right?
Right. Well, I think that basically, I think
Well, simple reason-
why does
okay.
why is it so attractive?
Yeah,
What
simple-
I feel is selfishness, the enormous selfishness that he displays. That's what people want. People want me first. Think about me, me.
Okay, no, my observation is everything in recent world is much short-sighted
Yeah.
instead of long range.
Yeah.
Everything. They don't think about more than 3 years, right? Climate change is more than 5 years, right?
Yeah.
They are not interested in. So they are not interested in education, climate change, and like infrastructure. American infrastructure is very old already, but they don't want to make investment, right?
Mm.
So this is short-sighted, short range. This is, I think, a global level of issues.
But it's also showing a thorough lack of empathy, completely not interested in the other side of the story. There is no moral obligation at all. Like what they're doing to basically whoever wants to get into the United States from Mexico, they're closing the border. They are sending people back to wait their asylum decision. There is no human consideration at all. Basically, they're just sending everybody out, and not because of the facts, but just because of a feeling like we don't want these people. It's a created, and they're not. I mean, basically, the number of immigrants was going down in the United States.
Mm.
So it's a created problem. Right, it was getting cold.
Yeah, really cool.
Oh.
He's just cleaning this one.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that's very nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That sounds good.
Yeah, that's very
Do
nice.
you feel
because-
that?
Yeah, no, I feel that immediately.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so sensitive.
I'm very sensitive.
Oh. Great.
So normally I already have
Yes,
my
yes.
my throat is starting
Yeah.
to hurt and my eyes are getting.
Yeah. I'll show you my wife response. My
It doesn't get very glad.
yeah, my wife response. This one. My wife response. This is Kimoto. Kimoto could have fixed it.
Yeah.
It never happened before. Like she said many.
So I think So the self people feel like they're just pissed off. They're just they want to put everything out and just maybe
Is the same as before?
no, it's different.
Why recent global people?
Actually, basically, people are becoming more Japanese.
Oh, okay. Why they are
Because
so?
Japan never actually really opened up to foreign immigration and things like that. United States was always proud of it and an open and free country, opportunity for everyone, and but now they don't want it anymore. They feel. I think maybe it's also because they don't feel confident that they can grow their country and
Also, their world is tendency short-sighted for everything.
Yeah.
Is this the same as before?
I mean, it's super short-sighted. So we're going to raise the import duties. Okay, but then the car industry all of a sudden hears that. Say, what the fuck? All of a sudden, their costs are dramatically increasing. Like, okay, so why are we doing this again? It's they not thought through at all. Very opportunistic.
I think the current Japan with its current situation is not good for current situation going on next 10 years. Japan is more isolated from the rest of the world.
But Japan doesn't mind.
doesn't mind.
Hmm.
But it's wrong.
So why do we organize the Olympic Games again?
Some people expect some profit or benefit.
So, if people,
Well,
as long as they still,
politics,
as long as they leave again.
politics. Why are they going to do the Olympics again here?
Yeah. So what is the long-term benefit? Is it just?
I don't think so. Not a long time. What the expectation?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why we wanted to win the Olympics.
What can benefit to this?
Oh, I got tickets, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah.
You pay? You're going to pay for that?
Yeah, sure.
Which one?
Judo.
Oh, judo is cheap.
Judo's cheap.
Uh,
So I tried to get like 20 tickets. So you get a maximum of 20 tickets.
You got 20 tickets?
No, Zanne. But there's a maximum of 20 tickets. You cannot win more than 20. You cannot get more than 20 tickets.
How much is the cost?
The only 1万円 per ticket.
Yeah, judo is cheap, but the open ceremony is
Opening ceremony, I also tried. でもダメだった。
most expensive is 300,000.
Yeah, something like that. So I tried to get tickets. ダメだった。
Some my friend got it.
Really?
Yeah, my wife is skeptical. How come we're going to pay for 300,000 for family for person?
It's a unique.
1.2 million. My God, she said no.
But it's not. They were. Depends on where you want to get the.
Yeah, A class, B class, C class.
So. But if you, I mean, actually, it doesn't really matter if you don't need to be very up close. You don't need to.
Yeah, skateboard is the same as judo.
Skateboard.
Skateboard.
Is there skateboarding? In
Yeah, skateboarding is also item for the Olympic game.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
She said 10,000.
I prefer judo, but
You prefer judo?
of course, I did judo for 20 years.
Did you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
20 years.
Do you know the player of the judo, Helsinki?
Of course.
Wow.
I know him personally.
Oh, Helsinki
Great.
is.
He died, by the way.
He is Dutch.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He comes from the same town as I come from.
He died.
He died.
So you are popular in your country?
I am popular. You mean famous?
Hmm.
No, I'm not famous.
No, in your country, everybody like judo.
Oh yeah. Judo is the number 3 sport for youth. Ne? Actually, the thing with judo is almost all kids do judo until 12.
Mm-hmm.
When they go to high school, then it becomes much more.
Oh, great.
But it's very, very popular, very common.
So, by the way, Japan is a very close country, and my bowling is 10 years. I feel fear for what's going on, and isolation.
In terms of
isolation.
Mm.
And major concern, the Japanese people cannot speak English, and they they do not have concern overseas. Japanese newspapers, TVs, everything.
Mm.
They only stick into local news.
Mm.
They don't care about overseas what's happening.
But I think that's actually most. Well, no, but a lot of people are mostly interested in what's happening around them. I think that's not only in Japan. That's.
But English-speaking people, they will know what's happening because it's the same language, right? But Japanese people on Japanese language only just get information which is translated in Japanese.
Hmm.
This is a problem, right?
Do you have 1 second?